What should we make of the rampant speculation that the next pope could be the last pope? Michael Snyder reports. The death of Pope Francis created a firestorm of speculation about the next pope. There's no clear frontrunner, and all sorts of names are being thrown around. Many liberal Catholics are hoping for another liberal pope that will be able to continue the legacy of Francis, while many conservative Catholics are desperate for a conservative pope that will move the Vatican in a very different direction. Meanwhile, a controversial document that was discovered in the Vatican archives in the 16th century, known as the Prophecy of the Popes, is getting a ton of attention on social media now. Many are suggesting that the Pope will soon be elected, will actually be the last Pope before the return of Christ. I'll try to take this one step at a time. On Monday, it was being reported that Pope Francis passed of a cerebral stroke and irreversible heart failure. And the Vatican's top doctor said on Monday Francis was 88. The stroke led to a coma and irreversible cardiocirculatory collapse. Dr. Andrea Arcangeli, the head of the Vatican's health department, said in a statement reported by multiple news outlets, Francis is being remembered as a reformer and often said very controversial things. For example, just a few months ago, Francis publicly declared that all religions are paths to God during a visit to Singapore. All religions are paths to God. I will use an analogy. They are like different languages that express the divine, Francis said during a September trip to Singapore, but God is for everyone and therefore we are all God's children. Francis broke the traditional Catholic teaching in many other areas as well. And now a new pope will be elected, according to ABC News. That process usually begins between 15 to 20 days after the pope's death. It's also during the interregnum that all cardinals under the age of 80 who are eligible to participate are summoned to Rome to prepare for the secret conclave inside the Sistine Chapel to choose the next pontiff, a gathering that typically commences between 15 to 20 days after the pope's passing, and the cardinals spend the interregnum host in private rooms in the Domus Marthae Sanctae, essentially a residence hotel in the Vatican with dining facilities that usually house visiting clergy and laity. Per tradition, the cardinals are cut off from the outside world, including televisions, phones, computers, and newspapers. The College of Cardinals will cast as many as 4 ballots in a single day for the next pope, with a 2/3 majority required to elect a pontiff. After each vote, the ballots are burned and smoke is released from the Sistine Chapel chimney as a signal that the throngs holding vigil in St. Peter's Square. Black smoke, fumata nera in Italian, indicates an inconclusive vote, while white smoke, fumata bianca, will signify that a new pope has been elected. If 3 days pass with no pope elected, voting can be suspended for a day to allow the cardinals time for reflection before the next round of ballots are cast. This upcoming conclave is going to be a fascinating thing to watch because at this stage nobody knows who is going to win. Right now more money is being bet on Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin than anyone else. He is currently the Vatican Secretary of State and he is considered to be very influential. The Vatican's influential top diplomat and a popular moderate, he's recently been installed as the bookmaker's favorite. Like his boss, the 70-year-old has espoused a liberal worldview and recently said he was hoping for an end of the suffering of the Palestinian people and also urged Europe to rediscover itself in order to be able to face the major challenges of the era in a recent interview. Parolin is one of 3 leading contenders named Peter, and he would be the first Italian pope since 1978. The other leading contender is Cardinal Louis Tagle. Tagle, 67, has been dubbed the Asian Pope Francis because his views largely align with the late pontiff. He has criticized the Church's severe stance on gay people, divorcees, and single mothers. Tagle is 7th cardinal ever from the Philippines, and if picked, would become the first Asian pope. And one expert claims that Tagle was once Pope Francis's favorite to succeed him, but it appears that his age may work against him. Edward Pentin, a Vatican expert and the author of The Next Pope, the leading cardinal candidate, said 5 or 6 years ago he was Pope Francis's favorite to succeed him. He's head of the important new super dicastery for evangelization. He's quite a strong contender, and he's still relatively young. His age may count against him, however. Cardinals are wary of appointing a relatively young man because his papacy could last decades, thwarting their own ambitions and squeezing their chances of one day being elected. Another candidate to watch closely is Cardinal Frodolin Ambogno Besungu. He is considered to be very conservative, and he would be the very first black pope. Besungu, 65, is a Congolese cardinal who has publicly clashed with Francis in the past. He rejected a decree from Francis that the church should give its blessing to homosexual couples, urging it cannot be carried out in Africa without Christians exposing themselves to scandals. He effectively declared the doctrine called fiducia supplicans null and void on the African continent. And there are many that are speculating that one of the 3 candidates named Peter will win because it would fit the prophecy of the popes. The prophecy of the popes was supposedly written by St. Malachi in the 12th century, and it was supposedly discovered in the Vatican archives of the 16th century by a Benedictine monk named Arnold Wion. The prophecy of the popes was discovered in 1590 by Benedictine monk Arnold Wion and is kept in the Vatican secret archives. This work describes 112 cryptic mottos in Latin, each related to succeeding popes, starting with Celestine II. And this list supposedly describes all of the popes that will reign until the return of Christ. The final pope in the list is given the title Peter the Roman, and the prophecy of the pope says some very alarming things about the time that he will lead the Vatican. In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock amid many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge, meaning God, will judge the people. The end. A number of scholars were completely convinced that Pope Francis was Peter the Roman, but Francis was not named Peter, and he was not Italian. However, Cardinal Pietro Parolin fits both of those criteria. Pietro is the Italian version of the name Peter, and he would be the first Italian pope since 1978. Of course, all of the speculation that we're witnessing about this on social media may be for nothing, because as Ricky Scaparo has pointed out, the authenticity of the prophecy of the popes is highly questionable. The authenticity of the prophecy of the popes questionable. The document first appeared in 1595, over 400 years after Malachi's death, in a text by Benedictine monk Arnold Wion. Scholars widely regard it as a forgery, possibly created to influence papal elections during the late 16th century. The motives are vague and open to interpretation, making them easy to retrofit to various popes after the fact. There is no way that we can prove that this document was originally authored by St. Malachi, so ultimately we don't have any way of proving if it is authentic or not. But if the candidate named Peter is eventually elected, a lot of people out there are going to go nuts over this. Personally, I'll be very interested to see how all of this plays out. What we do know is that we really are living in the end times, and so it's entirely possible that the next pope could be the last pope. No matter how much time we have left, all of us should be living with a sense of urgency, and all of us should be trying to make an impact on this world while we still can. And this is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, a blockbuster entitled Why, is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He also has written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of Future America, the Beginning of the End, Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to publish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.